All right. So how sloth am I allowed to be?
Okay.
Like, this is the nuances question
Okay.
that we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Like, there's a million things to going into how much I work versus don't work.
Yep.
Like, me compared to someone that just had 8 children at the same time,
Right.
you know, one of those
Yes.
rabbits. Like, I'm very lazy compared to that person.
Okay.
Like, extremely.
Okay.
Because those people probably never stop doing something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be right.
And yes, so that,
Okay.
but also like I said, I could always work for 5 more minutes
Sure.
and not have to do 5 minutes the next day.
Yep.
Or so how do I know, or how do I know within myself that I am sloth?
Okay.
Like, and how would I know that? And yeah.
All right. So obviously, you know, you use your example of like comparing yourself versus a family that now has, you know, multiple newborns at one time. Obviously, they're going to be working like crazy nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because they're going to have if they're working, you know, they're actually working at jobs, you know, their own jobs to make money. They're coming home and caring for all the kids and everything else. I don't think we need to get into a comparison thing.
Okay.
All right. I don't think we can compare ourselves to others. I think if we can provide for ourselves and our family, so we pay the bills, we have food on the table, and we're working for that, then you're not being slothful. Okay.
Okay.
Now there will be others that will say, well, you could work harder, and you could work harder to get promotions, to earn, you know, work more hours, to have more money. Okay. But if you're sitting there going, but I'm okay with just the fact that I can provide for myself and my family without having to take the promotion, without having to work the extra hours, then okay, that's a choice you're making.
Is that sloth?
No.
Why not?
Because the goal is not how much can I work. That's never been like the idea. I think we have a very Americanized idea of like hard work is this incredibly high value, and hard work often looks like working a whole lot of hours.
Okay.
And so therefore, if you go work a whole lot of hours, you're not being slothful in some people's minds. Okay. But if I'm able to work the hours that, you know, let's say I'm able to work, you know, the 40 hours a week and I can provide for my family, great.
So
if I can work 30 hours a week to provide for my family.
That was my question.
Yeah. Then great.
Okay.
And so now I think a lot of it
What
depends.
if I have to work 50 hours a week, but I don't?
You have to?
Yes.
To be able to provide?
Yes.
And then you just choose not to?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you probably need to.
Okay, what if I have to work 80 hours a week, but I don't?
But you don't.
To provide.
I would say we need to have a conversation about how you're, you know, why do you need to work the 80 hours? How much are we making per hour? Those kind of things. I think that's a broader conversation. So I don't want to get into a locked thing of going, well, it has to be this many hours. I think we know.
Trying to get there.
I know you're trying to set these lines. What I'm trying to say is, as long as we're providing for ourselves and our family, like we're meeting our needs, that's great.
Okay.
And I think so much of this that's what I was saying about America. I mean, the value of hard work and that kind of thing. Even in America, we're seeing a split of this because you've got, in other words, I believe, an older generation that really values this hard work, that really values putting in the hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so asking you to work 60, 70 hours a week, no brainer, go do it.
Okay? And they don't want to innovate.
Well, I'm not going to touch that one. But then you have another group that's going, well, I don't want to work that many hours. Right. I was raised by parents that worked like that, and I don't want to work like that. Therefore, I'm just going to choose not to. I will work less hours, but in so doing, you also have to understand. So therefore, we may not have some of the same things that those that worked all those hours were able to have. There's a trade-off in there.
We're never going to have the same things.
Well, yeah. All right. I can't wait to talk further about what's going on in our country later on. But anyways, and I mean like in another episode. But I think that...
Are we gonna?
Oh, we're going
Are we ever going to do that?
Oh, we're going to
What does that have to do with Jesus, though?
I think it has a lot to do with Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just...
In a worldview. Biblical worldview.
So what would that be called? Whatever. We can figure it out.
All right. But here's what I'm getting to. So like...
I was trying to do more work.
So for example, you've got some countries, and when they start work, let's say at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, they're going to have a tea break at 10:15, 10:30. It's going to last half an hour.
What time is it right now?
Not time.
Okay.
So, and then, they're going to have, then they'll work a couple more hours, have lunch, maybe work another hour or two, have another tea break.
Cool.
And then maybe work another hour. After that, half an hour, whatever, and they're done for the day. And we might look at that as Americans go, that's lazy. That's being slothful. And they're only going to work 5 days a week, right? And we may look at that and go, that's being slothful. And they're going to say, that's normal for us.
Okay.
We're able to provide for our families. We may not have the largest, retirement plans or 401ks, but this is what we're choosing to do. Okay. And you honor that.
We're also going to die at 50, so who cares?
That's, maybe. And so, but in a lot of those cultures that are like that, you've got like the multi-generational like living situation.
Right.
And so in other words, I think that's a direct impact for us, right? Because we feel like we need to have enough money saved up for retirement, In a lot of other countries, their retirement is moving in with their children, and the children are expected to care for them at a certain age, at a certain point. And so those are normative things.
Nobody does that in America anymore.
Oh, God, no.
No. There's a place down the street.
That's right. You go live there.
I'll come on Saturday.
Yeah. I say that. I actually know a lot of people who have elderly parents living with them in their home.
Okay.
So I really can't say that to be true, but because
those lazy, slothful elderly people.
All right, now. Don't be calling grandma slothful. All right. So.
Just sucking on the younger generation.
I can't right now with you. All right. So that's what I'm kind of getting to, this idea of like, what is slothful? I do think it is so often based on expectations within the country or culture you live in. I mean, there's some countries like, man, they're giving like a month off from work.
Yeah.
Like just, you got this month off, don't work for June. Don't work in July, whatever.
Yeah. But that's because they pay like 50% of their income in taxes.
Correct.
Yeah. So someone's working.
Well, and they're working, and that's what and that country has decided that's how they're going to go about it.
America.
America's working.
Yeah.
All the time.
Jeez. Team America, World Police.
But I do think that's why you can have this generational divide in America too, of the younger generation going, man, we don't want to work like that.
We're going to get a lot of comments on this one.
We are.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are going to be like, yes. Yeah. And the other people are going to be like, you lazy.
Yeah.
And
we're not being lazy.
Oh, we're not lazy. We're doing this. We're working.
Yeah.
This is work.
We're not being lazy, but we're talking about people being lazy.
Right. Those suckers.
Ooh.
All right. So.
Wow.
But like there needs, anyways, I could talk about this till the cows come home, but
okay, so whatever.
Okay.
Yes, other countries look lazier than us. But I live here.
You do?
In America.
Uh-huh.
So how do I know, based on how much work that we have to do in our lives,
right,
whether I'm being slothful or not?
Okay.
So how do I know that?
I think, to be honest with you, I think if you're going out there and you're working and doing your best to provide,
okay,
you're not being slothful.
Okay.
Because the reality is, Nate, that there are people. Right, well, I guess what I'm thinking about like the single mom who is out there working like crazy.
I had a single mom.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't have two of them.
Just had one.
Mm-hmm. One single mom.
But your dad.
I also
was
had one
there.
single dad.
Right. All right. Well, for everyone else in the world that knows what I'm talking about, but Nate, so I'm thinking about that mom who is single, raising kids, and is having to work multiple jobs, right? And sometimes even then isn't able to meet all the needs.
Mm.
Is that person being slothful? Is it because they can't meet all their needs? No, they're working. So I think the biggest point is probably in all of this is like, man, are you putting your best foot forward to work, to provide, to do what you can? And I think we just like, and we champion and go, that's all right. And I mean, Lord knows the rate of inflation and everything else right now.
So you think that if you saw someone who was like, you'd be able to tell if someone who was working as hard as they possibly could, but couldn't provide.
Yeah.
You'd know the difference between that and someone who is slothful and isn't able to provide.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? How would you know?
I mean, I think the honest thing is like, are they working or not?
Okay.
Right. Are they not just like, I'm working a few hours, like, but they're doing their best. I mean, let's say you've got someone, they're working 40, 50 hours a week to try to provide for their family. Like they're trying, right? Versus someone that is not working at all, or someone that is just simply choosing, hey, I'm going to live off of government assistance, or I'm going to live off of mom and dad, or I'm going to live off of, the charity of this organization, or like when you're just choosing to live off of other people or things because you're choosing
the taxpayer.
to. Yeah. I mean, like at some point you just got to call that for what it is. And, like
we're getting comments.
Don't be slothful, right?
There's no way around it.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Comment away. Like because we do know we have to, I mean, all right. I'm just going to go ahead and just jump here.
All right, go for it.
All right. So,
do I need to ask a question?
No, don't even ask a question.
All right.
All right. In 2 Thessalonians.
Okay.
And because I know this is where people, I just want to be very clear about what Paul says here.
2 Thessalonians, do not take government assistance, so help you God.
Chapter 3, verse 10. So, in fact, when we were with you, this is what we commanded you. If anyone isn't willing to work, he should not eat.
That's straightforward.
And I think we just have to say that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't say that if they're working, that they shouldn't be able to eat.
Okay.
Right? So in other words, hey, church family, come around them, help them.
Okay.
Like we do that as a church family. Like we know people that are, whether they're in our church or in our community, and we know they're trying, they're working, they're doing the best they can, or maybe also they just get laid off and they're out of work for a month, but it wasn't, they got laid off because of an industry shutting down or whatever, or the company shut down. Okay, let's help them. Because it's not their choice to not work. Mm-hmm. And so it's for those that are just saying, you know what, I'm just not going to work. I'm not going to do it.
So what about people who were given a bunch of money?
Oh, man.
Like if I won the lottery and chose not to work, say that.
Yeah.
It didn't come from anybody who worked. It's just I won the lottery.
Right.
So am I lazy? Am I sloth?
I think it depends.
Or did I work by playing the lottery?
No, you didn't work by playing the lottery.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I mean, I had to fill a thing out.
I know. Good for you. All right. So I think that when you have, all right, let's say you inherited a bunch of money or you won the lottery. And so now you got all this money. I would hope that you would still ask, Lord, what do you want me to do? Not do with the money, but what do you want me to do now?
Oh, and like with my life?
With my life.
Okay.
Because if it's, well, I've got all the money I need for the rest of my life, I'm just going to sit around and do nothing. That's being slothful.
Okay.
Yeah. You can have $100 million in the bank account because of inheritance or because of winning lottery and be slothful.